7:06. So we will start our Town of Frederick meeting on April 23rd, 2024 now. So Jason, would you mind helping us with the roll tonight, please?
Trustee Mahan,
Here.
Trustee Brown,
Here.
Trustee Tefelde,
Here.
Mayor Kreitz,
Here.
Trustee Lamach,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem March, Trustee Padilla.
Here.
Mayor, you have enough for quorum tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you. At this time, I would ask that we all stand and join each other in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I believe we have a minor change to our agenda this evening. Is that correct?
Yes, Mayor, if I could just for a moment, we discussed briefly in the work session about the swearing in oaths of office this evening. So the statute that I was referencing at the time is CRS 24-12-103, which speaks that oaths, who can administer oaths or affirmations in the state. And it mentions that all courts, state judges, etc. can. And then it also in there, it says a person designated by the governing body or any officer thereof. And so that's the statute that I was referencing. If you'd like to make that appointment of who you'd want to do that in the future, I would recommend that we have our municipal judge be a part of that process. But as you know, he's unavailable this evening. He was available remotely, but understand that that's not your preferred method. So if you'd like to add a motion at some point in the agenda to make that appointment so that we're clear as to who you'd like to administer those oaths, we can do that.
So a motion of appointment just before the swearing in ceremony would be appropriate.
Right.
Thank you. Any questions on that procedure? Are we okay moving forward on that? Great. All right, thank you. I don't believe we have any special presentations, so we will move swiftly into public comment. This portion of our agenda is provided to allow members of the audience. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see, so that you can provide comments to the town board, please sign in and I will call you. If your comments or concerns require an action, that item or items will need to be placed on a later agenda. So first I have Alejandra Major, is that correct?
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. My name is Alejandra Major, and I'm an associate director with the American Petroleum Institute, Colorado. API Colorado is a division of the American Petroleum Institute, which represents all facets of the natural gas and oil industry. We're committed to ensuring a strong and viable industry that's capable of meeting our state's energy needs in a safe and responsible manner. I'm here tonight to urge a no vote on the proposed moratorium. Colorado boasts some of the most stringent and robust oil and gas regulations in the country. These address water quality, air monitoring, wildlife resources, and more. Following the passage of Senate Bill 181, the Energy and Carbon Management Commission and multiple other state agencies continue to undertake numerous rulemakings addressing public health, safety, the environment, and wildlife resources. Of course, when a local government enacts its Senate Bill 181 authority, it must be necessary and reasonable. Following some of the, oftentimes, we want to know that oftentimes operators need to complete maintenance. This maintenance and these modifications may require, maybe address reducing emissions or address other safety measures. We're concerned that this proposed moratorium may prevent those operations from happening. The regulations that the town has expressed an interest in exploring can be done without instituting a moratorium and, importantly, without impeding business within Frederick. Imposing a moratorium while the town reviews and potentially implements new regulations is not a practice that the town has undertaken with any other industry as far as we know. This sets a poor precedent for doing business within Frederick. We share in the goal of advancing safe and responsible oil and gas operations, but we don't feel that a moratorium is justified. As industry is often proactive in ensuring safe and responsible operations ahead of regulatory requirements. We lastly want to note that industry was not reached out to on this proposed moratorium. We're eager to be a partner and to be a resource as you consider regulations moving forward, and we appreciate the opportunity to comment tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. All right, I have Jim, and I apologize. Is it Hi, how are you? How do you pronounce your last name? My apologies. Mengi. Okay. Thank you.
The only thing I want to talk about is how to make improvements with your organization. Chad and I have talked by email about the Malcolm Baldrige Excellent Framework, okay? And it's all about how to improve your organization. And it's not just at this level, but all through your organization, okay? And so I will hand this off to whoever's taking notes. And it's just something that someone can consider to do to improve your organization. For example, as we just talked about, the tree program, for example, how could you make that better? And today I was volunteering to give out vouchers for the landfill. So how could you make that better? How could you improve your programs for your citizens? That's exactly what this program is all about. And it's a presidential award you could go for. And if you get the presidential award, you must then represent that presidential award in your area, like the organization I was involved with, a credit union, who will come and talk to you about how to be involved. Okay? So it's not like you have to do it on your own, go through the framework on your own. But the two biggest things I would like to bring to your attention is core values and concepts, and also having organizational goals and results measurements. That gives you a whole lot of organizational value to work with. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes, appreciate it. That is all I have signed up for public comment tonight. Of course, we will always offer the opportunity for public comment throughout the board meeting. So if that changes, please let me know. Thank you both for your comment this evening. We'll move into staff reports. Brian, would you mind kicking us off, please?
Mayor and members of the board, just a couple of items I want to bring up in the packet. The first one is exciting news. You saw in there the schedule of the impact fee. Credit, thanks to Jason and the team, a lot of work. I know Kevin, as well as some other team members, Ryan, have worked hard in getting an RFP out. They've done through the analysis. We have a team on board, so we hope to have that project wrapped up by, I think, end of July. That's monumental for the town of Frederick. I'm not sure that those impact fees have been evaluated for quite some time, and that's substantial to our budget and the whole thing about with development paying its own way. So more on that to come, and thanks to the team for that great work. The other item in the spirit of the Malcolm Baldrige Award, we actually are working in May. We'll have a brief training with the board on a new agenda software management program. So this is something that's been in the works, I think, with the town of Frederick for, I know, over 4 years. In terms of the process that it takes to put the packet together for you all to see that end product takes a lot of time and effort, where there are systems out there that will do it all automated. We'll have a calendar that helps us 6 months in advance. The one that we have is in Excel, but this will be in a common system where you will all be able to, it'll be interactive as well as your agendas, and just producing a much higher quality. So that will be coming in May. We will have a brief study session just to go over the intricacies. When you receive your packet, it will be electronically more efficient. It'll be linked. It'll be a common format. It'll be pretty slick. So we'll have that teed up in, I think, May 14th or sometime in May to go over. So thank you to the team for that. We're excited about that. With that, I'll take any questions or comments.
That same process that will make it, the process for our residents to have more access to our packets. And so the packets will have links and accessibility for them to have references easier as well, correct? Great.
Yes, much better process than what we've been utilizing. Much more efficient. It's going to save staff hours on hours in terms of getting that packet ready on Friday.
It is very difficult to maneuver. I can't even imagine what it's like to put it together and coordinate all of that. Good luck, Trisha. So I'm excited for you that this will help assist with that. But even just referencing items, I mean, sometimes our packets are 200 pages, 400 pages, and even a 90-page packet is difficult to say, oh, I need to remember on page 7, I need to make a note of this, that, or the other. It's difficult to work your way through and save your place and find links and references. It's very difficult. So I appreciate, we're working smarter, not necessarily harder.
It will create a product for you on the user end with the packets. It'll be much more efficient for you to navigate, to make notes, to have placeholder. It'll be a lot better than what you're experiencing now.
Other questions, Brian?
No, all I know is that Kroger at one point when I was working with Kroger, we worked on a Malcolm Baldrige award. It was a very difficult but rewarding type of a situation. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take years or a couple of years at times, but it's a good product.
Would you all like for me to add that to our board retreat agenda item conversation?
I think so.
Sure, yeah.
I think we can do that. We'll discuss that a little bit later tonight, but yes, that's good. Thank you. As well as the impact fee discussion, you said more to come. Will we have dedicated work sessions on that, right?
Absolutely.
No other questions? No. Thank you. I'm glad you're feeling better as well. All right, we have consent agenda item next. Our consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and vote. There will be no separate discussion of consent agenda items unless a board member so requests, in which case that item will be moved to or will be removed from the consent agenda and considered at the end of your consent agenda. Does anyone have any items they'd like to remove for discussion this evening? If not, some direction on our consent agenda would be appreciated.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as is.
Second.
And a second, thank you for that.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Padilla,
Yes.
Trustee Tavelli,
Yes.
Trustee Lamont,
Yes.
Trustee Mahan.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Action agenda item E, ordinance 1392.
Oh, excuse me. So it falls to me because our outside counsel isn't here, and that's my gaffe for not inviting him. So I apologize. So before you is a temporary moratorium for oil and gas development as provided in the packet. This is intended to provide an opportunity for the board to take a pause on new development so that we can update our regulations to make sure they're in line with what you would like to see moving forward. As you recall, you were provided some additional information, kind of a framework by our outside counsel, which is why it's not a part of the packet, came under the attorney-client privilege, but kind of providing a framework of what the ECMC currently requires, what other jurisdictions require, and currently what our code requires or doesn't require or is silent on, etc. And to provide you that framework, the intention is that we can move as rapidly as possible to address the concerns that you have identified. Where there's areas of agreement, we can get those drafted into an ordinance and have them on standby. Where there's issues that still need to be discussed or deliberated or have a broader discussion, it's up to the board to make that decision. I anticipate that we would have several work sessions over the next several months. If we can get that work done on an abbreviated timeline, then you're able to remove the moratorium at a quicker pace. So that's our intent on staff. It really depends on what you all would like to see moving forward, but the moratorium is to just provide an opportunity to pause so that we can evaluate this. Originally, we were looking at having this included in the broader land use code process, which we've been working on, as you know, for the last year and a half or so. That's continuing to languish, that process, and so rather than wait another year and a half to get to this issue, we're suggesting that we move it kind of in an expedited timeline and process. So I'm available for any questions.
I appreciate the sentiments from Jason. I know you all have received communication from several parties today. I did have a couple of conversations with Weld County commissioners to better understand what land use as it pertains to oil and gas in Weld County looks like. Should we be modeling that here in the town of Frederick? What does that look like? How far off are we? And also did, a moment of checks and balances in, is this the right move for the town of Frederick? I know we had a spirited conversation about this a few weeks ago. But I do, very much appreciate that Jason was able to articulate that this is a pause. This is a pause to do things the right way in the town of Frederick. This is not a ban. This is not meant to harm an industry, to cause members of our community, very valued members of our community who are involved in oil and gas, any disrespect. This is actually to ensure the safety of our current and future residents and our guests by saying it is good governance to pause, reflect, and plan according to their voices, their concerns at the forefront of every discussion that we have. So please, in no way, be embarrassed or feel that if you have any concerns about this item, I respect that and appreciate your perspective. But I also appreciate that you're willing to have this conversation tonight and address it as an action agenda item. It is very much your responsibility to have the conversation on behalf of your community. So I appreciate the sentiments that it is a pause in just clarifying what we're doing with this moratorium. We are trying to expedite the process, that it is 6 months or shorter. But know that regardless of your direction tonight, you will have staff members who will be severely impacted by the decision, and we need to stand firm and supportive of them because the amount of conversation you got today pales in comparison to what they will hear from that community. So they probably need us now more than ever. So with that, any questions, any comments, any other reflection regarding this item? Yes, ma'am.
I weighed the pros and cons on this pretty heavily and had some good conversations with Jason and Brian, just trying to understand unintended consequences or really the bigger context. And I I want to be clear that I support oil and gas development and I support the jobs that oil and gas development brings. I grew up west of Trinidad, and without oil and gas development, our community would not have had a lot of jobs. It was very cyclical, but it's an important part of our economy and our community. There are good oil and gas operators that follow the rules, who we appreciate very much and who we want to partner with very much. Um, but I think this is a pivotal time for Frederick where we're experiencing a huge amount of development, and we have seen that our regulations have not kept pace with the intention of Senate Bill 181 and with state regulations and with really what our community members are asking us to do. And so I very much appreciate the folks who came here to make public comment and the letters from the Colorado Oil and Gas Association and Civitas. But I also think what my role is to speak on behalf of the community as well, to say that we want clarity for our operators who are following the rules, and we want clarity for our planning staff, and to be quick about it and quickly put these regulations in place so that at the end of 6 months we do have clarity for everybody to move forward.
I'll make a comment. So I kind of take a very much different view on this. I 100% believe that there are regulations in place that almost make it impossible to drill in Frederick already. I am very concerned about unintended consequences, especially how we talk often of the way things are portrayed in the public and what that view is. And then on this one, it seems like it's not necessarily the case. I think there's going to be all kinds of anti-oil and gas stuff that comes out of something like this, and I just don't see the emergency here. There's large setbacks already at the state, and if we require people to do things correctly through the state, I find it hard to think that there's going to be some horrible thing that's going to happen in the 6 months while we do this, and I just struggle with that, and we've had this opportunity for a long time, and then all of a sudden, right now, it's an emergency. So I just don't see, this whole thing started with KPK and some things that were going on with spilling and things like that, and they can't even do anything in the town of Frederick because they're already in violation. So I try to look at it from the other side and think, well, what is going on? Why is this happening? And I struggle with the reason of why. So when I have that feeling, I just don't feel like I want to send a message that I don't really know why we're doing it, but you know what? I'm going to tell you no. So that's where I stand. And, I've talked to a lot of people and thinking about, am I representing the people that supported me for this job? And I think I 100% am. When I discuss this, they definitely are concerned with the term moratorium and the kind of image that sets. When you Google it, it says a ban. There's words like that that are associated with it. I just don't feel comfortable with it. And I said that the last time, so I'm just kind of reiterating my point again. And I feel like I need to. So
Fair. I appreciate hearing it. Thank you. Any clarity needed?
No, I'm fine.
I think both Trustee Padilla and Trustee DeVelde presented really good arguments on both sides of those, and that's been the struggle too, reading through everything. My I think my biggest concern is I just want to make sure that we do have things correct. I think, especially reading through the memo that we got from our council, that there's just too much that's not shorn up. And I know that I get all the terms, but I mean, we talked about terms with other things, and unfortunately, terms can be taken a lot of ways. So it's tough, but we've got to make sure that this is right because there's just been too many problems. So that's where I'm kind of settled on that one. It's a tough. I can see those are both great arguments for both sides of those. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that we're doing our job right. So that's what it comes down to for me.
Dan, do you have any comments?
I think it just to reiterate. I mean, for what it's worth, it isn't something that any of us take lightly. I mean, it's, and I know that there's a negative connotation to moratorium. That's why we, have specific verbiage that has a specific date of, this is as far as it goes. If that's what the board chooses to do. I think that, yeah, there are too many gaps in what we have currently, that we just need to take the time to actually address, and not try to manage all of the other things that come. Without, if there's if anything were to come through, okay, well, this is what we want, but this is what the old code says, and I think that creates potential for more issues than it's worth, and just taking a step back, addressing it, and as quickly as possible, and getting things open back up. So
I think, Trustee Taveldi, I really do appreciate your perspective and that you took time to reflect and chat with members of our community. That's very important. And I respect that very much. I think the other component to this is this, to me, doesn't feel like an emergency. It feels like the last few years, this board in particular, the last 4 years, we've talked a lot about how do we make sure Frederick residents, current residents, that their voice was the strongest at the table. Not necessarily what will we do to attract new residents, but how do we take the voices of the community that makes up the town of Frederick and elevate that? In the middle of that, we also have the state that has been telling us through Senate bills and conversation that they want to see the town of Frederick built very differently than we're planning to build it. They want to see higher density. They want to see different diversity of housing and different opportunities like that. What we said in return was we're working on a comprehensive plan. We're looking at updating our land use code. We're looking at taking the voices of our community and building a comp plan and building a land use code that's applicable to how we can grow with enough resources to manage our population, but grow respectfully and responsibly. responsibly. So I don't necessarily believe this is an emergency. This is us taking that piece of the land use code and prioritizing it because we're overhauling the whole land use code. And let's be fair about that. We asked for that several years ago because we said, how many times do people come back to us and ask us for clarity? Or an application comes across our dais and we say, you know what, we don't feel like this fits the criteria. So our request was, let's go rebuild the criteria. What we're doing in this case tonight is saying we want to prioritize the criteria of oil and gas and make sure that's clear for operators, make sure it's clear for residents, make sure it's clear for that industry. So to me, not an emergency, a prioritization.
And I'll follow that with the fact that, I mean, it really doesn't matter in my view because it's moot. I mean, I really don't think anybody could get a permit in town anyway. So I just hope there's no side effects where there's an emergency moving of a gas line for a project because it's in the wrong place or something like that, and we are not going to do anything about it. But I have trust that that's not going to happen. I mean, we're reasonable here, so I trust that that's not going to be a problem, and especially if we go quick, that shouldn't be a problem. So.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Any other questions, comments? This is an action agenda item, so if you have questions for staff, you're welcome to ask that now. If not, some direction on this item.
If I could real quick to that point, one of the things that Ally had flagged in the resolution that we ended, or the ordinance that we ended up changing before sending it to you all, was to make sure that there is some flexibility for the replacement of current infrastructure, so that there is that opportunity. We do have some of those pending as well.
As I read it, it wasn't blatantly clear, but it seemed like it did allow for that.
Right, and that was the intent, without overhauling the whole thing and making it more complicated. It's a delicate balance, but that's the intent, that if they have failing infrastructure, failing facility, that they would be able to
not have an excuse to not fix it, because
correct.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 1392, an ordinance of the town of Frederick, Colorado, adopting a temporary moratorium for applications for oil and gas development within the town of Frederick.
Second.
In a second. We've all been discussing very well, but do you have any other further discussion? No? All right, thank you. Please.
Trustee Mahan,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Tavelli,
no.
Trustee Lamont,
Yes.
Trustee Padilla.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Thank you. All right, we do have a swearing-in ceremony to follow, but we need a brief moment to gather ourselves and figure out our plan, right? So
We're all gathered.
we're gathered. We're great. We're okay. Let's.
Government can.
Oh wait, we need a motion.
Yes, a motion.
Yes.
Clarifying that you're authorizing me to do that for you.
Okay. Would someone mind presenting a motion, please?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the action for our group to select the person to swear in the newly elected board members.
Second.
Point a particular.
And I would like to make that nomination that we appoint our town attorney to do that.
that counts.
Second.
Trustee Padilla,
Yes.
Trustee Tavelli,
Yes.
Trustee Lamont,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Mahan.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason, for stepping in.
Oh, sure.
Appreciate you.
I don't know if you want us to do it down here in the well.
Sure. That would be nice. Would you like us to just line up?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it one at a time.
Okay. Sharp. Need help? Okay.
Take the spot for photos.
Do you want all this on there at once?
Well, yeah, who would you like to have first? All right.
Okay, there we go.
We move out of the way.
You guys just stand up.
I'll have you raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Adam Mahan.
I, Adam Mahan,
Do swear or affirm Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
and the ordinances of the Town of Frederick,
and the ordinances of the Town of Frederick,
and will faithfully perform the duties of the office
and will faithfully perform the duties of the office
of trustee upon which I am about to enter.
of trustee on which I'm about to enter.
I just feel like I'm always in front of somebody. That's why I'm like,
You want to go first?
Adopt you all today. We're here for families. Thank you.
Families, right here.
You know how people feel about sports. Yeah. What would you like? Planting tonight? No. Your family.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Mark Lamont,
I, Mark Lamont,
do swear or affirm
will
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
and the ordinances of the Town of Frederick,
and the ordinances of the Town of Frederick,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of trustee
trustee
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
I'm getting good at this.
You're doing great.
I forgot to tell Des till we part or something.
Until 4 years.
until 4 years.
Been sworn at, I've never sworn others.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kevin Brown,
I, Kevin Brown,
do swear or affirm
do swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
and the ordinances of the Town of Frederick,
and the ordinances of the Town of Frederick,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of trustee
of the office of trustee
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Were you about to say I solemnly swear?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool that it was with Kevin too. Harry Potter fan that he is.
Solemnly
Is it
swear
a Prince
that I'm up to no
John,
good.
right? That I'm up to no good. Right. Congratulations.
I'll have you raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Tracy Price,
I, Tracy Price,
do swear or affirm
do swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
and the ordinances of the Town of Frederick,
and the ordinances of the Town of Frederick,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of Mayor
of the office of Mayor
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter. Thank you. Yes.
Wait,
we can
hold
take
on.
a recess. So that we can
Our PIO would like us all up here.
Group photo.
Group photo.
Or the tallest high heels I have.
You can have cake too.
Really.
sugar yourself.
I just don't get how
Let's
the
have a
people
cup of
who
coffee.
work at Crumble can work there and not.
Especially how
You get
good
sick
it
of it.
smells in there.
I worked at Dairy
Well, no, I
Queen,
mean,
so
I get
can't
the
wait.
getting sick of it. Also, like in the early days, I would.
All right, we only have a few other matters this evening. Congratulations to all of you that were newly sworn in. Yes, congratulations. Very exciting. In true fashion, we're gonna get right back to work.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
would say too, the fact that you really didn't have any competition. Well, I'm not saying, but for 3 spots, there's only 4 people trying. Everybody must be doing a good job if nobody wants to. So congrats.
Yes, agreed. It's a privilege to serve with you guys. And thank you.
15 people that ran the first time we ran. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. It
And
was
I ran against there was 6 or
Eight.
7, 8 of us.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I appreciate that perspective.
Good sign.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Honestly.
Keep on keeping on then, huh? Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's see. We have our next action agenda item is item G, and that's appointing a mayor pro tem and our board liaisons. So I know that I'm hearing that there's a few of you that are interested in being a mayor pro tem. I will mention that I just want to take a minute, and I wish he was here to hear this, so I'll make sure maybe we can talk about it again when he is joining us. But Dan has been our mayor pro tem for a couple of different terms, and when I reached out to him to say, would you like to continue to be a mayor pro tem? Would you like to suggest another teammate? Would you, what are your thoughts on that? Just to understand, he was so complimentary of all of you and said, I would be honored to be mayor pro tem for as long as I possibly could because I've enjoyed the experience. But he mentioned in particular, whoever takes over mayor pro tem, he supports personally and feels that it's been such an honor for him to serve as mayor pro tem that he's just excited for a new team member to see that, enjoy that, and he's looking forward to supporting you. So I just wanted you to know I did reach out to him, asked if he was interested in being the mayor pro tem moving forward. He said he would be happy to be if that was, the prerogative of this board, but he's also happy to support one of you taking over that position as well. You all know how much work this is, yes, as board members. I can't thank you all enough for your time. I know what board meetings used to feel like several years back, and we didn't even meet every Tuesday back then. It was, we had 2 Tuesdays off a month, and we would try to cram everything into 2 different meetings on the second and fourth. Yes, isn't that wild? It's crazy. And I think the first year we were like, gosh, we have so many new members. Things needed conversation, they needed more discussion, and we decided to implement the Tuesday work sessions so that we could have more time to appropriately understand our job, but understand where the town of Frederick is, how it got there, and then where we needed it to go. So that takes a lot of time, and this role is no different than that. You all see, and I appreciate your support. I do work a full-time job, and my most important job is being a mom. So there are times that I'm not able to be at board meetings. So I appreciate that the mayor pro tem can step in and take that for me. What that means is that mayor pro tem goes to the agenda review meetings. That mayor pro tem is available to staff to not only ask their questions in preparation for all of you, so the agenda has all the items in it that they know you all would like to see, or maybe they anticipate questions of, Trustee Lamaki, what he likes to know is, how is it impacting the greater good? So let's talk through that a little bit. In agenda review meetings, you really do discuss all of you and your perspectives, and making sure that your board is well served when I'm not available. I have a great relationship with all of you, so I appreciate still being able to communicate with whomever is the mayor pro tem and say, hey, I have some concerns or some areas of discussion for the board meeting, and I'd appreciate if you brought those to attention on my behalf as well. So I look forward to that continuing. Just know it is a commitment to be a mayor pro tem. It's more than a title. I know you all know that. But not only the absence of board meetings, but when I'm unable to speak at a event, In many cases, I would love for all of you to speak at events. It does not need to be just myself or the mayor pro tem. You're all welcome to be ambassadors, and you all have been, and I appreciate that. So I would like to nominate, I'll start us off, because I know there's a few nominations tonight, but I would like to nominate Trustee Padilla for consideration of mayor pro tem. Trustee Padilla, and I can say this to about all of you, is so very thoughtful and collaborative and is diligent in the time she takes for considering all parties involved. I continuously see emails, communication from herself to our town attorney, our town manager, myself, just checking in on where are we at on an agenda item. How can we resolve this quicker? How does it impact our staff? She's really looking at it at a well-rounded ecosystem, and I very much appreciate that. Again, I could say that about every single one of you, and so I would support more nominations tonight if that's the case. But you do have one nomination on the floor.
Thank you. And I texted Dan. He texted a picture of Wanda who's recovering from surgery.
Great.
We miss him, and I hope we do get to say thank you to Dan next meeting.
Yes, that would be nice. Do something nice for him. I'll think through that.
I'd like to nominate Trustee Brown, Kevin Brown. I think Kevin Brown has done a great job for the community for the last 4 years that I've served with him. He's always available. He's got some great ties with the community, whether the school board or the school and the kids. And he's a real asset to the community. So
Yes, great.
And it's something that I am interested in too. It's something that, as was said several times, it's another opportunity to serve our town. I think it's a great chance to get to know more about our town and to be more involved. And it's definitely something that just continuing to care about this town and everything that's going on is something that I'm very interested in.
Good. I'm glad.
I don't have the bandwidth for it. Being perfectly honest,
Okay.
it's something that I think would be great, but I am not.
Yeah, you'd be great
Not
at
this
it.
round. I've got too much else going on right now.
I respect that. Thank you. Okay. 2 nominations on the floor. We have a couple of options we can vote on that option. We can I don't know how you feel about postponing a decision a couple years from now, how you feel about kicking the can, but we could have the 2 of you split the next 4 years, have 2 and 2, unless someone's interested in not reserving those final 2 years. I don't know. Don't ever want to say never. So, how do we feel?
Only if she gets the last 2 of the next 4 and has to run.
Run again. Ooh, I love the manipulation there. A gentle nudge. Yes, I hope that's the case.
I'm up for whatever the board sees as the best option for the town. I don't even know if I'll run again in 2026. I probably will.
Yeah, I was gonna say, someone turn their mic off, please.
I might
Strike
be
that
living
from
in
the
Hawaii.
record.
In Hawaii. That would be the only exception, is if you are living in Hawaii. Okay, would we like to take a vote on it tonight, perhaps? I know Jason got paper for us.
Yeah.
So cool.
Official ballots.
Wait, you typed it up?
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Wow.
Thank you.
if I recall, when we did this a couple years ago, we gave a ballot to everybody. Typically, the mayor would only vote in case of a tie, but as we follow the precedent set a couple years ago, we provided a ballot to everyone, and then it would collect those. So on this, it would say you'd have to identify who you are because these become open to public records
Okay.
per the statutes, and then who you're selecting out of those 2 nominations. If there's still a question, then we can do it again. I've got another sheet that I can cut up. And then the thought is, with the resolution that's been prepared for this evening, I left all the blanks there, and so this wouldn't necessarily be the official action, but then we would put that name into the resolution that's been drafted, and then that would be eventually voted on once you figure out all of the other boards, committees, and commissions, and that'll be the official record, right?
Well, maybe I won't vote, because if I do, then it could be a tie. But if I don't, then it can't.
Right.
So I'll
it's up
skip
to you.
voting.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay.
What voting music is.
Yeah. Does anyone have any suggestions?
They're not very fancy ballots, so I apologize.
That was nice of you. Thank you. Especially on the fly.
They're
Like, who
really
has a template
Golly.
for a ballot in their office ready to print?
I just-
Jason Myers.
I drafted it. That's why I was running down the hall.
That's really nice of you. Thank you. Also, while you're all voting, I've told you all the story about how Dan received a name tag from the communications team that did nothing wrong, but they accidentally spelled Mayor Pro Tem wrong on his name tag, and it said Mayor Pro Team. And he wore it. He still wears it. Like, he has one that's been corrected, but he's like,
That's it.
I love this. It just says Mayor Pro Team. And I think that's adorable. It says Mayor, yeah, right? Of course.
The new Ryan Johnson Chronicles. Just kidding.
I can't wait to hear more.
All right. So we have a vote for Trustee Padilla, vote for Trustee Brown, vote for Trustee Brown, vote for Trustee Padilla, and a vote for Trustee Brown. So it's 3-2.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, exciting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yeah. Let us know how we can help.
Okay, well, I'm here to help you. That's-
Don't screw it up.
You. That's the only advice that we have. Just don't screw it up. Just kidding.
I have more ballots if we want to do other votes. I'm just kidding.
I really enjoyed that exercise that Autumn had us do with those paddles. So maybe we just need those little ballots every now and then for random things. Okay, wonderful. So would one of you mind providing a resolution this evening for Mayor Pro Tem Brown?
So, Madam Mayor, it's included in the resolution that was drafted.
Oh, okay.
So we can have that written in.
Would-
Unless you'd like to handle it separately, then we can.
No, I'm okay with that. I just thought, I'm sorry, I thought you mentioned we needed to read the name into the resolution for some reason. But as is just fine as well.
Yeah, so section 1, we will write in Trustee Brown into that section, and then the rest of the section 2 identifies all of the different boards, committees, and commissions. And then if you all would like to make those selections, and then we have a clean record as to who's doing what.
And
Yeah.
Mayor, just real quick, a point of clarification on in the AM, the pros commission, just for scheduling to ensure that anybody who's interested, they actually meet on the second Wednesday at 6 p.m. So not the first Wednesday.
Okay, that's helpful. I know that this is maybe last minute, but I think there's a lot that will happen via your voices at the board retreat that we're proposing in May. So would it bother anyone to just pause on board liaisons, committees, and commissions until after that retreat when we see what kind of action will come for each department? And go
But nobody changed, right? So we don't.
Nobody
have to
changed.
replace anything.
We don't
can
have
just
to.
keep going for
Right.
a little bit.
And one area that I would like to advocate for continuity, even outside the retreat, is Dr. Cog. I think it's important that there's a stationary professional, maybe the same for you, Trustee DeValdi, on water. I think them having a face that they know and a liaison is very helpful. But maybe we can discuss it from after the retreat.
And the only one that I just would like to continue working on because it's still in its infancy is the youth commission.
Okay.
I'm happy. I think it will be a joy and an excitement for anyone else to work with that in the future. I'd love to just see it one more year, especially with, can we maintain the number and level of people that we've had this year? Because a large number of them are seniors.
This is true. Yeah.
But we've had some really interesting. We were doing an Earth Day exercise last week in our advisory, and we were talking about water. We were just like, what should you guys care about? Not to taint their picture, but I said get involved now, and I said Frederick has a youth commission. It doesn't matter if you're in Dacono, Firestone, or Frederick. If you want to be part of it, so I had 2 or 3 people that took the website. So hopefully they're filling out applications, but. That'd be my only request. Other than that, I'm happy to serve or go where I'm needed or put.
Well, voluntold.
Voluntold.
Maybe we find that there's a flexible schedule where we can get many board members involved in a process or on a board or committee. So maybe we find that. For now, are we all comfortable staying as is? And if we need to make any modifications, we'll do so after the May retreat.
I'm
Yes.
comfortable with that.
All right. Are you all comfortable with that?
Yeah. So in terms of the resolution, I would just have it be amended to more or less delete that paragraph to we can do that administrative change and make it so it's just the appointment of the mayor pro tem. That's easy enough if you all feel comfortable with us doing that.
So moved.
Now,
So moved. Please.
I'm excited to work on that process. We've got a lot of things going on. Kobe's done a great job, but there's a lot of things going on that I'm excited to follow through on.
I agree. Great. Thank
I like
you.
that the change of it from post to prost is like now cheers.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, maybe they should have a stein or something, a beer. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, we have what we need. Yes.
Madam Mayor, I move resolution 24R27 approval, appointing Brown as Mayor Pro Tem Brown and to delay the board liaison appointments.
Second.
Motion and a second. Wonderful.
Trustee Lamont,
Yes.
Trustee Tefaldi,
yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Mahan,
Yes.
Trustee Padilla.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, congratulations. Exciting.
Isn't it nice that there aren't really any bad choices for stuff like that?
That's amazing. Really, truly. You can't go wrong. And that's, I mean, a far cry.
That would be a bad choice.
It's like
I'm
actually.
just going to
Not
be.
be here at all in the daytime as much as I have to be. I work too far away, but hopefully someday.
It's
that's-
difficult. Yeah. Yes, agreed. Okay, we'll save our discussion agenda item for another time. So that brings us to trustee reports. Does anyone have any trustee reports tonight?
The only thing I have is that all the community tour and talks are scheduled at the exact same time as the Denver Dr. Cog board meetings. So
Oh boy.
I will definitely make it probably to Wyndham Hill, but I will have to pick and choose between the two of them.
Okay.
But I'll try to do that in a way that helps the town the most.
That's good to know. Thank you. And if there's someone on the team that you maybe want to say, I'll switch, you go to that meeting and I'll go to tour and talk, just let us know because we can do that too. So speaking of that, so we all got the calendar invite. It's helpful if you accept or decline, and then if maybe we used to be able to see who was attending from a board's perspective, mainly just so that we know someone from our team will be there, because it does happen every now and then in the summertime where there's a Wednesday that no one's there, and that doesn't look good, and I don't want that to be the case. As often as possible, we all need to be as present as possible, but that there's going to be occasions where we have conflicts. So I would just like to make sure that we have representation as often as possible. So if you could have Emily share with us, or Jessica, whomever, what that calendar invite response was, that would be helpful. So we know.
Mayor, the update that we give a week in advance of.
Great. When we get the questions and fantastic.
Right, because my schedule could change, but right now they all work.
Yeah, good. Wyndham Hill. Okay.
Is that the one
no,
on May
Savannah.
22nd?
Oh, Savannah's first.
May 22nd. Yep.
Back to that.
Oh, on the 22nd. Yeah, the Wyndham Hill is in June, which is going to be the one I miss. No, maybe not.
Savannah's the first one. May 22nd. It's also on your Frederick calendars if that helps, like those physical ones. See that. Okay. Any other trustee reports tonight?
I'm really excited and happy that we didn't have the conflict of the first tour and talk on the same night as the senior parade. So,
We do not.
no, the parade's on the 15th.
Right.
And so I'm excited that way. It was fun. It was a quick drive across town.
Yeah.
So hopefully, are we going to be able to, maybe since we don't have two events that night that we're stretching on, can we do something like we've done in the past where we decorate the admin building and cheer on the seniors as they drive by?
We already ordered a
Oh, thank you. We're so cute. Thank you. Yeah, that's fun. And we'll try to, maybe we need a calendar invite back for that too, because we'll most likely all be there. That would be great. Sorry. Just in case. Thank you. We were gonna briefly talk about the May, is it 27th, Brian? 28th.
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 The 28th.
Tuesday, the 28th. Normally, that would be a work session for us. In the last few years, we've done our board retreat here at Town Hall and just kind of hunkered in here for the evening, planned for a late night and dinner, of course, but several topics of discussion as a board retreat on that evening.
We're doing it here.
That's correct.
Either we could do here or United Power, either one.
That's fine too, yeah. Just nothing flashy or wild excursion. Just us.
You want to go to Black Hawk?
You know, I've never been to Black Hawk. So no,
Be a bit distracting.
it might be.
Just a smidge.
Does that sound doable for everybody?
Not a conflict at this time.
28th, you said?
28th, yes.
My only conflict is that my Dutch foreign exchange student leaves that morning. Not a big deal, but our French one leaves the next morning. So it could be a little bit tough, but we're doing the big goodbye for both of them the night before, so it shouldn't be that bad.
You'll just be tired.
I would love to try to pitch that, as much as it gets really late, maybe we can try to push the start a little earlier too.
Earlier.
just to
Yeah.
make
Okay
it
with that.
so late.
You want to do like a 5 or 5:30 start?
Can anybody get here at 5 or 5:30 on the 28th?
I sure can. But
Yeah.
I don't want to, affect everybody else, but it just seems like as long as it might be,
Yeah.
give a little before and a little after.
I can do 5 on that day. I don't know.
With this amount of notice, I can plan for that.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Just checking his calendar, but nothing.
Wide open. Okay, let's plan for 5 p.m. on the 28th of May for our retreat. Great. Okay. And then the other item is the May 14th board meeting. Will we be prepared to award the scholarships that evening? So the scholarship families will be here. So if you can be present at that May 14th meeting, that would be appreciated to celebrate the seniors that you all have sponsored.
Where are we on that, Mayor?
We are ready to award recipients. So I think we have 7 that will, which is great.
Is the
7
fourth,
scholarships?
7
Oh, that's
scholarships.
amazing.
Yes, we had 4 last year, 3 the
is
year prior. We'll have 7.
the 14th too late?
Probably, but I think
Actually, Mayor and Trustee Lamock, we have until the 21st because the senior stuff we have to have it to them by the 23rd, so we're good on the 14th.
That's their big senior scholarship
Part of the high
awards.
school,
Yeah.
so we're good.
okay, 14th it is.
Are we going to be able to? I know we're presenting here, but are we also going to be representative at that for any of the people that are from Frederick High School?
Yeah, we'll have the names, so it will be represented at Frederick High when they announce all the scholarships, and Frederick will be part of that.
And if we have students that are from, because I know we have kids that go to Meade, kids that go to Niwot, do they typically do something like that where we'd also be able to be
Question.
involved there? I just want to make sure that we're giving as much equity to the other places as.
Right, there are 2. There's one Meade and one Erie.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we should look into that.
we'll look into it.
Swallow because it's not my school, but
There were a lot of Frederick
thinking broader,
applicants.
thinking
Yeah,
broader.
So Mayor Pro Tem of you.
no.
that way,
You got your
don't
one.
mess up.
Good. Okay, any other matters tonight? No? Okay, congratulations. We are adjourned. 8:22. That's pretty great.
Somebody go to me, I can go to